All right, everybody, welcome to Foo Theater. You're watching Foo Theater on The Real Foo TV. I'm being joined by Bob, as always.
Hello, hello, and Dark is in the comments. He is the first to the stream. Hello, good evening.
What's
Welcome
up,
to the
Dark?
show.
1 second, please. My little technical issue. Some of the stuff's moved around.
How dare you?
1 moment.
How dare you? Foobert.
All right, didn't do all my audio checks yet. I'm about to, okay, 1 second.
Foobert the Fourth.
All right, Bob, what are we watching?
We are watching one of my very favorite movies from when I was little. That is still one of my very favorite movies today.
Yes.
It is Topper.
A topper. All right, so who's starring in that film, Bob?
So Topper features probably the two most immediately recognizable actors are Cary Grant and Constance Bennett. But it also features Roland Young, Billy Burke. Billy Burke, for those of you who don't know, is Glinda from The Wizard of Oz. Alan Mowbray, Eugene Pallett. It also has Manhattan Moreland in there. Manhattan Moreland was a very famous character actor. He's very funny. And I'm not going to give away too much of the plot, but it is from 1937. It was a massive hit, spawned 2 sequels, both of which are actually quite good as well. And it was produced by the man who used to produce the Laurel and Hardy films.
Oh, I used to love those as a kid.
Yeah. So you'll see a lot of that, like physical comedy, the slapstick kind of zany, harebrained comedy. Like, it's great. It's just a great film. It is based on a book, actually.
Is it?
It is. That was adapted. Now, the book was from 1926 and is apparently a little spicy. The film isn't spicy in any regard, honestly. You get, Dark is asking if he gets a prize for being first. You get our undying love and affection.
We're going to start producing t-shirts, so maybe you can get one. Do
you want an FUTV t-shirt?
We're going to have to give out a t-shirt in the beginning of every episode if we do that. It gets a little expensive.
But it's a great, funny movie. It is a movie from the 30s, so you're going to have to modify your expectations. There are some innuendos, but there isn't any filth.
It's not filthy?
There are some kind of questionable portrayals of different types of people, but it's a movie from the 30s. So
Yes.
kind of just go in with that expectation. Cary Grant is quite young in this. Constance Bennett looks like a little angel. She's so pretty. Apparently they wanted Jean Harlow or W.C. Fields for the role of Marion Kirby, which is the role that obviously Constance Bennett plays. And Jean Harlow was in the process of dying at this point, so she obviously would not have been.
And who is Jean Harlow?
Jean Harlow was like the OG blonde bombshell of the golden age.
Did you say she was the star of this film?
No, Jean Harlow. The director Hal Roach wanted her to be the star. He wanted her to play Marion Kirby, but she was dying. Like she was actively dying while this film was coming on, while this film was being made. So that definitely wouldn't work. They approached W.C. Fields to see if she would do it, and she turned it down. So they went to Constance Bennett, who was kind of pricey, you know, all things being considered, because they weren't totally sure how this was going to play out. And she actually agreed to do the role for less than her usual fee. Her usual fee at the time was a kingly $40,000. I don't know what she was actually paid, but she agreed to do it for less. And just the chemistry, the interaction between Cary Grant and Constance Bennett is just perfection. It's a great, very fun movie. So I don't know. I grew up watching all like exclusively black and white films. So these movies, the Abbott and Costello movies, Laurel and Hardy, Charlie Chan, Thin Man. Like, I'm trying to convince Fu to do some of those films as well. So we shall see. Perhaps those will be future episodes.
Yes, we're gonna be doing loads of episodes on here, people. This is you're watching. Obviously, you are watching Fu Theater. We have returned, people.
And if you are not in a vehicle, obviously, and you are in for the evening in the spirit of Topper, pour yourself a glass of champagne and enjoy, because that is the Kirby's drink of choice.
Yes.
The bubbly.
It should. We don't want to give away too much, people, so we're not going to be showing the trailer for this film. Because the only trailers I've seen out there actually show off the whole plot of it. Remember, before we get into the movie, to hit that like button, people, and hit the bell icon. And if you want to support the Real Food TV, and by Real Food TV I mean Food Theater, I mean both, and Bob, me and Bob, our Venmo is in the description for the video. All right, it looks like there's another comment there from Dark. Bob, you want to read that?
One of my uncles had a Laurel and Hardy VHS. Funny stuff for being that old. You know, a lot of modern comedy, like the Deadpool comedy, right?
Yes.
It's based very heavily on the physical comedy of the 20s and 30s.
A lot of slapstick comedy came from these older films.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the comedy you see today came from this stuff. I mean, if you want to watch sort of like slapstick comedy that's similar to films, these older films, you watch stuff like there's a film from the 1970s called Stir Crazy.
Yeah.
It's starring Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. And then you have the Mel Brooks films. They're in this vein. They're a little more edgy, you know, a little darker, more raunchy. But there are many films that you may like that you'd be surprised to know are just similar to this style of comedy. This style of comedy in many ways influenced cartoons. Like if you look at the Three Stooges, that's slapstick comedy, right?
Yep.
It's a lot. There's physical and there's physical comedy, and there's a lot of.
It's a madcap comedy. So it's these completely like preposterous situations with very zany, like funny situational things where somebody is put in precarious situations, not dangerous ones per se, but like just progressively more ridiculous. There's another Cary Grant film that is a comedy in a similar vein that has Katharine Hepburn in it that was like my all-time favorite movie for like years and years and years. I had the entire dialogue memorized. My little brother and I could go back and forth doing several of the Abbott and Costello films where he and I knew the lines and would just go back and forth with them. But Bringing Up Baby is a really funny madcap comedy with Cary Grant playing a paleontologist and Katharine Hepburn playing, I think, the role that was really best suited to her of this like completely anachronistic or completely eccentric heiress. And she has a pet tiger named Baby. And it's a whole catastrophic shenanigan. It involves them getting arrested. They're on rooftops. It's a very funny movie. I love that movie very much.
All right, so we're gonna be watching the film, people. Like I said, we're not gonna watch a trailer for it. We don't want to ruin the surprise. But stick around because after the show, we're gonna be doing our review of it. We do have a guest slot, so if you guys want to review the film with us, you can do that. That's totally fine. We also have a phone number if you guys want to call in and talk about the film or whatever other film you want to talk about. But we're going to be getting into the movie. You ready to go, Bob?
I am extremely excited.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to this movie for like weeks at this point. Ever since Fu like agreed to do this movie, I've been excited about it because I love this movie.
Yeah,
very
Bob wanted to
much.
watch this. She was talking about it months ago, and now we're finally doing it. We've been doing a lot of sci-fi, and we started doing kung fu. We're gonna bring all kinds of styles of films to this channel. But I do love sci-fi. It's one of my my favorite kind of film styles. And horror, we watch some horror films. I think we've watched a lot of good films so far, if I may say so myself. But this one right here, this one was suggested by Bob. All right, so here we go. Topper.
It's so serious that even like my mom is excited about this because my mom obviously, my mom and my parents and my grandparents
Yes.
were the ones who introduced these movies to us. So when I told her that we were watching Topper, she was very, very excited about it.
All right, so here we go. With that said, Topper. The 1930 what classic, Bob?
1937.
1937.
Summer of 37.
An oldie, but a
specifically.
goodie. Maybe. I
bestie.
actually, I've never, I don't know, I haven't seen this whole film.
It's so good.
I think I saw the sequel. There was a really
There's
funny
3 of
scene where
them.
the guy falls down the well.
I think
Is that
that's in this one. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's Manhattan Moreland.
All right. All right, here we go,
Mr.
people.
Topper!
Topper. All right, technical difficulties. We've got a static sound in here. Gonna have to fix that. Sorry about that. I hit the button, it turns static on. 1 second, please. Sorry. Okay. One last thing before we start the film. I have to turn on a couple of some audio adjustments here real quick. Okay, we're gonna go into the film now.
But do appreciate how pretty the women are in this film. And the men. The men are very handsome. But I just think Constance Bennett looks like an angel. She's so pretty.
Oh, the old open bucket,
Bucket,
the iron-bound bucket,
oh, bucket.
the moss-covered bucket that hangs
George.
in the well.
George, I think it was pretty mean of you to drag us out and leave all our guests flat.
Bucket,
Oh, you didn't drag us out. Well, I didn't invite them. You didn't even know them. Well, they've only been there for 3 days. George. George!
Wait a minute, I'll be back in a minute, honey. What do you want?
What time is it?
Huh?
I said, where are we going?
That isn't what you said before. Oh, we're going to Wall Street to see old man Topper.
Iron-bound Topper.
That moss-covered Topper that I promised to meet at this bank for the annual meeting of the board of directors at 10:30 in the morning.
Too many words, honey.
That's what I thought.
Well, let's see. It's 10 o'clock now,
Yep.
and it takes a half an hour to drive in,
Yep.
and the meeting's at 10:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves 12 hours for a night of complete rest. So this is how one starts getting a night's rest?
My pet, resting's the sort of thing you've got to work up to gradually. Oh, excuse me. It's very dangerous to rest all of a sudden. Come on, darling.
Place a table for the curb is hurrying. Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Perry.
Joe.
I have a nice ringside table for you, sir. Over there.
Hi, Mac.
Hello, George.
Hello, George. How are you?
Thank Harry.
You, Mrs. Kirby.
Hello, George.
Come on, Hooper, the music's swell.
What?
I said the music's swell.
Can't hear you for that blooming music.
That's what I said.
May I come in?
Is this the way in?
Looks like it.
Well, how do we get out?
Honey, you slide in and they carry you out.
Oh, no.
Right, where I go, you go.
Oh, hey, wait for baby.
Oh!
Don't forget to write. Hey! Gentle George. Deceitful George.
Oh, man, moon, wake up, quiet, 'cause I've fallen in love. Go spread the news to all the stars above. Shine for my baby while we're dancing tonight. And fill her tender eyes with love and dynamite. Yeah, look at night, look at night, yeah. In a bottle of wine, just do your darndest to make sure that she'll be mine. Please, Mr. Kirby, sing your horseman, sing your horseman, sing. Till noon, my sincerest thanks to you, sir. Oh, man. Look, Mr. Kirby, you are my best customer, and I appreciate it. Maybe you got no home, maybe you don't need some sleep, but me, I have a home. I have to have some sleep.
All right, Tony, just one more chorus.
You're telling me the same story for the last hour. I got sick and tired of hearing the song over and over again. Oh, but you ain't gonna.
Yeah, old man Moon put stardust in a bottle of wine. Just do your darndest to make sure
Yeah,
that she'll be
good night.
mine.
Maybe the poor man's tired.
I don't know why he should be tired. We did all the singing. And if it's possible, keep shining till noon. My sincerest thanks to you, dear.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Night, Huggy.
So long, see you next time. Come on, you know.
Old man Moon, old man Moon, old man Moon. Oh, old man Moon, da 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 da. Old man Moon.
You get it, darling.
Oh, old man Moon. Ah, Jimmy, did we keep you waiting long, Jimmy?
Oh, that's all right.
My sincerest thanks to you, sir. Old man
Wilson.
Old man Wilson. Old man Wilson. Old man Wilson, that squares us up for the whole week.
Right,
Old
Mr. Kirby.
man Wilson. My sincerest thanks to you, sir. Old man.
Hey, George, is this 10:30 in the morning?
Oh, this is Topper's Bank.
No.
Honey, do me a favor.
What?
Shut my eyes.
Oh, shut your mouth.
Good night, my pet.
Night.
Hey.
Oh, hello. You going to a costume ball?
What do you think this is, an auto camp?
cross patch, cross
Come on,
patch,
get out of here
cross
now. You
patch.
can't sleep here.
I'm not sleeping. Talk to him about it. He seems to be doing it all.
Oh, hush, Marion. Who have you dug up now?
I didn't dig him up. He dug us up.
Make him go away.
I can't. It's a COP.
Oh, tell him we don't want any.
Hey.
Ooh, flies.
Come on, get out of here now. You can't sleep here.
Well, we're not sleeping. We're waiting
Waiting for what?
for the annual meeting of the board of directors of that there bank.
Hold on there, hold on. There's nobody in there.
Maybe they're late.
Maybe they're late.
You see, you can't argue with him.
No, I can't, eh? Well, now I want to tell you something.
See what
don't-
you can do with this instead.
Well, of all... Oh.
Temper.
It's 3 minutes after 8, sir. All right, Wilkins. Do you realize that most men don't get chased out of the water like trained seals? Most men can dawdle in their shower. They can...
You are not most men, sir.
Why can't I be most men?
Because you are Mr. Topper, sir. And Mrs. Topper insists. 4 minutes past. We dress now.
Oh, we dress now. Morning, Clara.
Morning, dear. You're late.
Oh, better late than never. Only 44 seconds, anyhow.
Can't that fellow wait until I tell him what I want?
Because you always have the same thing.
All right, supposing one morning I were to take a notion to battle a trout or some oatmeal or something. Where would we be then?
Oh, don't be silly. I've taken great pains to arrange your diet properly. You need sulfur. The eggs have sulfur. Don't dally, dear. James tells me you had to run for the train yesterday.
I did. I ran fast, too. I caught the very last step.
The very last step. Outrageous.
What is outrageous about running for a train, dear? Lots of men do it.
Yes, clerks and bookkeepers who come to the depot in a bus to catch the 7:45. But for the president of a bank to arrive in a limousine, to take the banker's special, and then to run all over the platform like a silly chicken.
I didn't run like a silly chicken. I ran beautifully.
Besides, you know how you puff when you run.
Of course I puff. Everybody puffs. You puff yourself, Clara. I remember that day
Cosmo, please, don't be vulgar.
Sorry, dear.
And I don't care if you are well preserved for your age. You look anything but dignified when you run. And I won't have you climbing aboard the banker's special all out of breath.
8:42, sir.
Bye, dear.
Bye. Don't run, dear.
It's 8:45, Mr. Topper.
Morning, Mr. Topper. Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Topper.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Topper. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Joe, it is a good morning, too, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I haven't enjoyed it, though.
Why, don't you feel all right?
Once I don't feel all right, I feel a million years old.
You old? Why, you'll never grow old, Mr. Topper.
No?
I think you grow younger every year.
I rather grow younger every day. Anything special this morning?
No, but Mrs. Topper phoned me to be sure that you go to lunch promptly at 12.
Did she tell you what I was to eat? Oh, that's all right. I remember.
The directors are all waiting in the boardroom.
All of them?
All except Mr. Kirby.
He promised me faithfully.
He's not here. I phoned his penthouse in their Long Island place. Neither of them had been home all night.
I suppose not. We'll probably have to get a detective to locate him the way we did last year. If he should turn up, ask him please to come in and sign the minutes at least.
My word. Fine place to sleep, isn't it?
Gentlemen, we will, as usual, conduct our annual meeting without the presence of our largest stockholder, Mr. Kirby.
Weather clear. Track fast. I made it.
The meeting will please come to order. Very gratifying to have you with us, Mr. Kirby. I will read the annual statement, which is ready for publication if approved by this board. And you, Mr. Kirby.
Okay, shoot.
Shoot, Cash on hand in Federal Reserve Bank and due from banks and bankers, $660,220,262.99. Bullion abroad and in transit, $13,202,854 and no cents.
No sense.
I just said that, Mr. Kirby.
So did I.
Continue. Acceptance is $47,501,324.36. Best phone acceptance is held for investment, $7,986,449.39, which totals for $39,514,874.97.
Well, you know, just to sleep, just to have one of those wild parties. You just come in here and sleeping around. Sure.
Way early in the morning.
You fellas have been working in the office all day. Shoot them.
Just hold the car, please. I'll be back in a couple of days.
Get a load of the fur-bearing blonde.
Good morning, Mrs. Kirby.
Good morning.
If you're looking for your husband...
Oh, no, I know where he is. In there gumming up the directors' meeting. But if you should happen to see him looking for someone, remind him that it's me, will you? And tell him where I am.
Oh, my goodness. She's gone into his private office.
Liabilities, endorsement acceptances, and foreign bills. $3,014,142 and no cents. Deposits. $1,709,643,127.39. Liabilities. Liabilities, endorsement acceptances, and foreign outstanding checks. $35,166,883.36. Total $1,744,910,10.75. Balance $2,086,978,810.17. Now, if you gentlemen agree, this report is satisfactory for publication.
It can't be done.
I beg your pardon. I don't understand why it can't be done.
Look, try it. You try writing your name upside down and backwards without stopping. Here.
I move we adjourn.
I second the motion.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Carried. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a great deal of business on my desk that I wish to attend to at once. moss-covered bucket. Write your name backwards. Can't be done. No sense. Well, George Kirby's a nitwit if ever I saw one. You found him? Don't at me.
Go ahead and stat him. I think it's cute.
Oh, I didn't know you were here.
Oh, don't apologize. If you're confounding George, I think you're absolutely right. But you only have to put up with him once a year. Think of me. I have to live with him. And I guess I love it.
Please don't misunderstand. I like George. I'm very fond of him.
And he's fond of you, too. In fact, we both are.
No, please, no. That will be all, Miss Johnson.
You know, Topper, you were awfully silly not to come to our anniversary party. It was a swell one. Lasted for days. In fact, I think it might be still going on.
I bet it was fun, yeah. But Mrs. Topper doesn't approve. We had another engagement. Oh, well, you understand, don't you?
Yes, I'm afraid I do. Why don't you stop being a mummy for a few minutes and come to life? Of course, there's nothing wrong in being a mummy if you had any fun getting that way,
But I didn't, you see.
No, I can tell that by the way you're staring at my knees.
Well, I never stared at a knee in my life.
That's probably just what's wrong with you.
Because I suppose I do envy the way you and George do things, but it would never do for me, for a man in my position. Then, as Mrs. Topper says...
As Mrs. Topper says. That's the situation in the box it came in.
Oh.
Now, honey.
Never mind, thanks. I found her. She's running the bank. Huh?
George, look. What's the matter with him?
No, he's old enough to know what's the matter with him. Liabilities, no sense, assets. Topper, I know just the thing for the two of us. Where is it?
But something's biting the man, eating him from inside.
Maybe termites.
What sort of a woman is Mrs. Topper?
Don't
tell me, I'll guess. Is she the horsey type? No. The tennis type? No. I know, she's the tin type. Arranges your diets, fixes your clothes, tells you what you'll eat and where you'll go, huh?
Well, to a certain extent, yes.
Hey, where'd you keep it?
I knew it.
Keep what?
The bottle. Don't tell me there isn't a bottle around here.
Of course there isn't a bottle. This is a business office.
Listen, business is all right in this place, but don't you think that's carrying business a little too far? Come on, Marion, let's roll.
Oh, no, I don't want to leave Topper. Somehow I feel if I could pull them apart, I could put them together again and he'd work much better.
Catch.
Oh.
Topper, take my advice. Don't let her make a guinea pig out of you. You'll never be the same again. So long.
Mrs. Kirby's handkerchief.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm ready, Mr. Topper.
A.H. Gregg and Company, 80 Milk Street, Boston, Mass. Yes, sir. Yours of the night received and fascinating woman, Marion Kirby, isn't she? She reminds me of an Easter egg I had as a small boy.
An Easter egg?
Mm-hmm. One of those frosty ones, you know, with a peephole in it. You look through and saw an angel. I wonder why Marion Kirby reminds me of an angel. Yes. Well, where were we?
Maybe we'd better start over.
The angel was a blonde, too.
You're driving us crazy way out here. I mean, you're crazy to drive us way out here. We could be at the apartment sleeping our ears off.
The apartment's too close to that bank. It's in the same city.
Why do you pick on the bank? It doesn't pick on you.
Oh, but that stuffed egg that runs it does.
Stuffed eggs, I love them. You never know what's in them till you take a bite.
Well, take a bite out of the Topper for me once and crack your teeth.
Why you love him so?
Because he bores me stiff. He's like a nice, successful sheep.
Oh, don't say that. Topper has very interesting possibilities. Maybe.
Yeah, well, so is a sheep. It can be chumps or hash or soup.
Offhand, I'd say hash. Hash, Topper? That fits, doesn't it, George?
Offhand, I'd say, what are you talking about?
Hash, Topper, you know, all mixed up. But all he needs is a little straightening out, and I can do it, too. Can I, George?
Yeah, listen, the last time you tried straightening a guy out, you cost me 10 grand. Not this time, my foot's down.
If you ask me, I'd say it was down too far. eyebrows on the trees that time.
My pet, if you were driving the car, there wouldn't be any trees. We'd have plowed them up.
Do you remember what happened to the last car we had?
Sure, you drove it into a meat market.
No, the one before that.
Well, I can't remember that far, Pat.
George, look now.
Something in my eye.
Something in your eye. Careful. Look out. You'll never make it, George.
I'll never hear the last of this.
Oh, look at my car.
Look at my hat.
And I got a run in my stocking.
Look at that.
I told you to slow up, but would you? Oh, no.
Can I help it if a tire blows out? Besides, I had something in my eye.
Couldn't have been your driving, could it?
Say, I've come around that curve much faster lots of times. So have you.
And it was such a lovely car, too. Oh, George.
Hmm?
You're getting transparent. You're fading.
Say, that's funny. I can see through you, too. Say, who's that?
It's us. You know something, George? I think we're dead.
I think you're right. It's funny, I don't feel any different.
No, either do I. Now I wonder what happened.
I don't know. I suppose pretty soon we'll hear trumpets, and then off we go. I hope we go together, honey.
And so do I. No trumpets.
Oh, no trumpets. Marion, what do you suppose is the conventional thing to do now?
I don't know. We've never been conventional.
I think we tell someone our good deeds, and then they open up the beautiful gates and let us through.
Yes, but what good deeds have you done?
Oh, dozens.
Name one.
Well, Hey, what good deeds have you done?
What have I?
At least we haven't done any bad ones, honey.
Yes, but that's not enough, and I'm afraid it's too late now.
Yes. And I'm afraid that for once in our, well, for once we're stuck.
George, maybe not.
Hmm?
Maybe if we could do a good deed now and... Oh, George, you're fading.
Didn't you think the lamb was especially good?
Yes, of course it was good. Why must we always have lamb on Sundays?
You like lamb, don't you?
Oh, yes, I like it, but couldn't we have it on some other day, say Tuesday or Thursday?
We have beef on Tuesday, boiled vegetables on Thursday.
Oh, sparrows.
Why do you use that silly word?
Because you won't let me swear like a gentleman.
Cosmo, what has come over you lately? You've been acting so strange and moody, not at all like your usual self.
I don't know. Ever since the Kirby tragedy, I've been thinking. Tara, life is so very short, and we get so very little out of it.
Don't you realize we're middle-aged?
Yes, but why should we be middle-aged? After all, we're not so very much older than the Kirbys were. And look how carefree they were, how full of life. I can hardly realize they've gone. Poor George. Poor Marion.
Poor Marion. Of course, I never saw her, but from what I've heard of her, she never thought of anything in her whole life except how to paint her pretty face and wag her figure about.
Oh, yes, she did. She used to think about me.
Oh, don't be foolish. I shudder to think what kind of a ninny you'd make if you didn't have me to stop you.
There's a man outside, sir. He wishes to see you about a contraption he's brought with him.
Oh, yes.
Well, here she is, Mr. Topper. Huh. Just as good as the day she was bought. Here, I got a list of the things I've done to her. Now, you see here, I'll put in a brand new front axle.
Yeah.
No use trying to repair them things.
Well, it's something, isn't it? How much do you think we could sell it for, huh?
Well, pretty hard to tell, Mr. Topper. It ain't like trying to sell just any car. You gotta find the right party.
I mean, someone who hasn't heard of the wreck.
Yeah, that too. Some people are superstitious. But I mean somebody who fit it, kind of.
Well, what do you mean, fit it?
Well, like, well, take yourself.
Yeah.
You could never own a car like this.
No, I suppose not. Why couldn't I?
Well, for one thing, the missus, she don't care for anything flashy, does she?
Mrs. Topper runs the household, and very efficiently, too. But when it comes to buying cars, of course, I never want to buy a car like this, but if I did want to buy a car like this, I'd buy a car like this. How do I look? Hmm?
Oh, you look swell, Mr. Topper.
Bet I do. I fit it, too. Fit it just like a kid glove, you know?
Oh, for heaven's sake, Cosmo, what are you doing in that horrible that horrible thing?
Sitting in it, dear, just sitting.
Just sitting. You look like a what now?
Matter of fact, I'm thinking of buying it.
Buying it? Buying that circus wagon? Well, of all you've said, Cosmo, you must be dithering.
I thought it'd be fun to drive my own car. Weekends, anyway.
Well, of course, I suppose you're old enough to know your own mind, but...
Clara, we used to play together once, and we could again. We could drive up to Lake Placid, just you and I. Stop at a roadhouse and dinner and dance and...
Drive in that? You're asking me to drive in a car that looks like a painted Jezebel and drive in it to a roadhouse? Why, it would be like going to the opera in my nightgown.
Painted Jezebel, eh? So I'm a ditherer. Well, I'm jolly well going to dither then.
All right, Bob, why does everybody drive like a psychopath in this movie?
Well, because that's a sports car. You know, for the day, that was like a lean, mean, speeding machine.
I mean, but he's driving in a really erratic way. Like, he grabs the steering wheel and he's like turning it left, right, left, right.
Well, you have to realize that driving faster than like 20 miles per hour was still a relatively new thing. So if he's rocking and rolling at 40 or 50 miles an hour, he might as well have been on a rocket ship.
All right, so he's just not used to it.
Yeah, and he also doesn't drive his own car. He gets driven. So he probably hasn't driven a car in years.
Yeah, that's funny. Look at this.
And it's basically like, whoop, starting to drive a car by driving a Ferrari.
It looks like he's driving a fish.
It does a bit.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of the movie Cool World. You ever seen that?
Yes.
It's a very pretty car, but it looks like a fish.
It is.
Would you mind getting off my wife's lap?
Who said that? Stop it. My nerves are jumping up already. Where are you?
Get off my foot.
Who are you? Where are you? I'm in no mood for this sort of thing. Come out in the open where I can see you.
Toppy doesn't know us. Toppy doesn't know us.
Mrs. Kirby, may I present Mr. Topper?
How do you do, Mr. Topper?
How do you do?
And this is Mr. Kirby, Mr. Topper.
How do you... George and Mary and Kirby, why... It can't be. It mustn't be. It is.
Oh, dear, dear. Topper's fainted. Get some water, Marion.
Water.
Come on, Topper.
Oh!
Oh, that's fine. You're a great help.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no, it can't be. No. If you don't mind, I'm going to get in my car and drive home.
No, Topper.
Sit down, Topper. You can't get in your car and drive home because you've got a flat tire. Besides, it isn't your car, it's ours.
Well, I'll walk. You can have the car. Mrs. Topper doesn't like the horrible thing anyway.
Oh, George, did you hear that?
Well.
Mrs. Topper doesn't like the car. Our good deed. Let's get to work on him.
What do you mean, get to work on me?
Never mind, Topper. Why doesn't Mrs. Topper like the car?
Well, she just plain doesn't like it. That's all. She often just plain doesn't like things.
Now, what kind of talk is that, Topper? She just plain doesn't like things.
I refuse to say another word. I'm probably talking to myself anyway.
Like that. We find you fainting all over the place. We nurse you back to health, and still you're complaining.
I want to go home.
No, Topper, you can't go home. Besides, George has to change the tire, and he's very good at it, too. Go ahead, honey.
All right, I'll change the tire. But I'll be darned if I'm going to waste any ectoplasm doing it.
You see, Toppy, we only have a certain amount of ectoplasm to use to get visible. Naturally, we can't waste it, can we?
Of course not, no. I wish someone would wake me up.
Now, Toppy, I won't bite you. Come on, let's sit over there by the tree and be comfortable. We might as well be comfortable while George works, don't you think so? Come on. You sit there, and I'll relax here. You know, Toppy, you're a funny little fellow. You intrigue me. How'd you happen to buy our car?
I bought it because I was mad.
Who at?
Never mind.
Yeah, I know. Toppy had a fight with Mrs. Toppy.
I did not.
Come on, tell the girlfriend all about it.
What girlfriend?
Yours. Me. Say, you don't mind if I save my energy and just become nothing for a while, do you?
Well, I don't suppose I do. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dematerializing. Watch, it works like a zipper. Zip.
Marion, where are you?
Right here.
Huh? Oh. Well, look here, make a noise every now and then, will you, so that I'll know what I'm talking to.
Okay, I'll do this. Now, go on. Tell me about buying the car.
Oh, well, I just decided I'd buy it, you know. Because I had an awful time with it at first, because I was going along and a great big truck came along and chased me off the road, and then I was just getting over that when a huge bus came along and chased me up the side of a hill like a mounted goat.
Hey, watch out.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Well, then I was going along peacefully, and suddenly, bang, and I was flat. Just explaining something to a friend of mine. Well, is it my fault that there's no one here? Quiet.
Hey, Marion, come out, wherever you are. I've got an idea.
And George has an idea. It is, generally speaking, an idea.
Bring Topper along. We'll go places.
No, I don't want to go places. Because I've been to places, lots of places. Really, I have.
Oh, but not with us. It's different when you go places with us.
Bring him along, Marion. We gotta have him. He's our good deed.
Come on, Toppy. You drive, George. I'll sit in the middle. Come on, Topper, get in.
Don't you think I better drive? It looks so crazy to other people if you drive.
Oh, now, come on. Don't be a mess. Get in.
Close your door, Topper.
With you.
There was no one driving that car.
Oh, you're crazy.
I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. The car was driving itself.
If you ask me, so is this one.
All right, I'll prove it to you.
Well, you'll have to.
I wish you'd stop this nonsense and let yourselves be seen, or let me drive.
Okay. Slide over.
Now what have you got to say?
I know what I'm like.
Where am I taking you?
You're not taking us. We're taking you.
Marion, it's bad enough just being in the car with you two the way you are. Well, the way you aren't. Where are we going?
Well, unless you rented it to someone, we're going to our penthouse.
Haven't. No, I haven't rented it.
And we can have a drink.
George hasn't had a drink in days. He looks much better than he used to, don't you think?
How in heaven's name should I know?
Hey, stop pushing.
Don't push me.
I didn't push you. And if I did push you, what of it? Oh, a wise guy, huh? Like those crazy Kirby's.
Crazy Kirby's, huh? Wise guy, eh?
George, I wish you'd do something about yourself. You know, an idea how annoying it is to be out with someone you don't know where they are.
Okay, my friend, anything to oblige. Here we are, Topper, the Kirby kennel. Barking, howling, and biting permissible. Come in.
Oh, where's Marion?
Got her room, I guess. You know how women are when they get home. They like to change clothes, fuss around. Blither, blither. You drink?
I did once, but it wasn't much fun. Nobody noticed it. Made me dizzy, and I had to keep one eye shut.
Oh, well, you had the floats. I like them. Make you feel nice and goofy.
Maybe I do need a drink. Maybe I've needed a drink all these years and haven't known it.
There we are. Hold it. Topper, my pet.
There you go. My wife objects to drink.
Then she shouldn't drink.
She doesn't.
And what's her objection?
If my wife were to walk in here right now, I'd have to speak to her very sharply in order to keep her from making a row. Mm-hmm.
Speak to her?
Yes, I've never beaten her. Not yet, I haven't.
Oh. Open the other bottle.
Crazy Kirby's, eh? Plush pup.
Thanks, George. You feel like dancing?
Do I feel like what?
Oh, you know what? I'm dancing and singing.
Say that again.
Well, George, dancing, singing. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, with a hey, nonny, nonny, and a whoa, whoa, whoa.
Relax, Topper, relax. Take a drink. Stop fidgeting.
Well, do you mind if I just sat here and sort of sneaked a little dance with my feet?
Cut it out, will you?
Oh. Well, if I just sat quietly here and felt like dancing, that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Look, what is this dancing complex?
Look here. Would you mind if I just got up and danced around about on my tiptoe?
All right. All right, if you must. Go ahead, but take it easy. Toppy, I think you got something there. Hit it. Truck on down, Toppy.
Well, that's how I dance. How do you like it?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty bad.
I'm glad you like my dancing, George. Look, I think I can learn how to live after all, you know? I can drink all right. And I can dance fine. Now, about singing, Let's sing a little, eh?
Yes, that's a good idea. Let's sing.
Oh, there she is, George.
Where?
Topper, you look like an owl.
Come here, George. Huh? I'm afraid I must ask you to request your wife not to talk about me anymore. Use your influence. If you haven't any, beat her.
Come on down, Marion.
All right.
Ellie.
Oop.
Ta-ra! Topper, if you did that on purpose, nice going.
I'm dreadfully sorry, George.
I forgive you, Topper.
Oh, nice forgiving, too.
Can we dance now?
Why, certainly. That's what I got off my perch for.
Oh, moss-covered and well.
It's a fine thing. Trying to steal my wife, eh?
Why, I wouldn't think of such a thing. I don't think.
Oh, Topper, I'm disappointed in you.
Say, if I'm in the way, you folks can leave.
Oh, not at all.
Mighty nice of you to let me stay around.
Hey, what's biting you? You're not getting jealous, are you?
No, just getting careful.
Say, listen. All I'm trying to do is to complete our little experiment.
Yes, well, I don't know if I like it.
Well, that's too bad.
Grab a look at your little experiment now.
Oh. We're really not being very fair to him. I don't think he knows how to drink.
Well, he only had a couple of glasses of wine.
Yes, but I don't think he's ever had a drink in his life.
Poor Topper.
Poor Topper.
Poor Topper.
You keep out of this.
Oh.
Say, George, you know something?
What?
I think fate sent him to us.
Yeah, well, I think we ought to send him right back.
Oh, no. He looks like our last chance at a good deed.
That's how he looks to you.
Look at him. His whole soul is crying out for self-expression.
Is that the way a soul looks when it's crying out for self-expression?
Maybe. Maybe Topper's soul. Anyway, all he needs is a little encouragement from us.
Yes, dear. Well, if you really want to do him a good deed, get him some bromo while I go and change my clothes. Hold down the fort, honey, while I dissolve into a suit.
George, where is it?
Huh? Where's what?
Where?
Where what?
The bromo, you know.
Well, then give him some.
Then you'll just have to have aspirin instead.
Oh, never mind. Let it go. I'll be done in a minute.
It moved.
We're fresh out of Bromo.
All right, then put on your bonnet. We go down to the drugstore and get him some.
Come on, Topper.
Topper. Mm-hmm. Dear, dear. Marion, come and hold him here while I get my hat.
All right. Oh, George, quick.
Trying to get away, huh? Come on, Topper. Just be. Don't drop him or you splash. Now, Toppy. Relax. Take it easy. There he goes again. Ups-a-daisy, Toppy.
Say, George.
What?
We can't go down the lobby like this. We'll cause a riot. Faye.
Okay. Don't teeter, Topper.
For heaven's sake, what's the matter with that man?
Why doesn't he fall? What's the idea of stealing my elevator?
We haven't got your elevator, silly.
I never wear them.
What do you mean by insulting a guest?
Well, he was...
You're fired.
Thank you, Toppy.
I've got a beehive in my stomach, but don't mention it.
Hey, there's that bug now. Ask him what make she is.
Yeah, she's a beaut. So that's the baby you've been talking about. Boy, for my dough, she'd be a cinch to handle.
No gentleman would talk about a lady like that, and I demand an apology. You gonna apologize?
Ah, you daffy.
Oh, my listen, you!
Hold
him, Toby! Please, to the rescue!
What's going on here?
Well, officer, one at a time. Now, who hit who? He hit us. Oh, he hit us? Yeah. One man attacking the whole gang of them.
Well, he started it, but the other two helped him.
What other two? Where are they?
In there.
Now, don't try to be funny. You, what happened?
Well, that's right, officer. He started, then his two friends jumped in.
What two friends? Where are they?
They got in there.
Yeah, and then the other two jumped out of the car and started slugging me from behind. Now, wait a minute. Now then, what other two? Holy cats, they're gone!
That's right, they got in there.
All right. Now, look, mister, maybe you can tell me what happened.
Me?
Yeah.
I want to sing.
This one wants to sing. All right, Danny, come on, let's take them all in. Sit down there.
People versus Cosmo Topper.
Say, were you guys in the same fight with him?
I'll say we were. Who is he?
He's a big shot banker from Wall Street.
What'd he do?
Well, for no reason at all, he hangs a haymaker on Eddie's kisser.
You're charged of being drunk and disorderly, attacking a peaceful citizen, and inciting a riot.
I'll tidy you up a little. Wash him off, George, while I fix his hanky.
Okay. There are 4 serious...
Just a nervous eccentricity, Your Honor. It sometimes gets the better of me.
There are 4 serious charges here, Mr. Topper. I presume you wish to plead not guilty and tell your side of the story.
On the contrary, Your Honor, I wish to plead guilty and get it over with.
Well, in that case, you leave me no alternative except to fine you $100.
Why, that's outrageous.
What's that?
I said, where do you pay us? I mean, where do you pay it?
Right there. Next case.
But the dame, wow.
The dame, what does she look like? Who is she?
We don't know. A burlesque queen or something. Swell-looking doll, but plenty tough.
Next case.
Well, Mr. Topper.
All right, boys, out of
Nice square. Good morning.
Is everything all right, Wilkins?
I should say, sir, though it's not my place, that everything is quite all wrong. In fact, I might even go so far as to add that you have become a legend before your time.
Does Mrs. Topper heard about last night?
Mrs. Topper, sir, has read about last night.
Oh.
It's 4 minutes past 8.
I know. We dress now. Good morning, dear.
Good morning, Cosmo.
I'm late.
Your egg, sir.
Oh.
Your toast, sir.
Well, I mean, go on. Let's get it over.
Cosmo, I've been a good wife to you. I've helped you climb to the top in the business world, and I certainly raised you socially. I married you for better or for worse, and if you see fit to drag yourself and me in the gutter...
Oh, Clara, please.
Of course, you realize we'll have to face the world without any friends. No one with any self-respect will ever cross our threshold again. And you had to pick this particular time, too. Oh.
Well, I don't understand just what you mean about this particular time.
I had every good reason to believe that the Stuyvesants were going to ask us to their next big party.
Stuyvesants? Oh, of course, yes, I know you. You wanted to be asked there for years. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry, Cosmo. What's done is done. And I will do my part to save what little I can from the wreck you've made of our lives.
8:42, sir.
Oh, so it is.
Yes, madam?
Is Miss Topper home?
Whom shall I say is calling, please?
Mrs. Rutherford Stuyvesant.
Mrs. Rutherford Stuyvesant? Oh, come in, madam. Mrs. Rutherford Stuyvesant calling, madam.
Mrs. Rutherford Stuyvesant. Mrs. Rutherford Stuyvesant. Oh, good gracious, Wilkins. You must be mistaken.
No, madam. Shall I,
Oh, yes, of course.
Mrs. Rutherford Stuyvesant.
Well, so you're Mrs. Topper. I just dropped in to ask you and that delicious husband of yours to come to dinner next Friday night before our little dance.
Why,
Oh, I do owe you an apology. I should have called on you years ago, but I didn't know whether you would approve of our little crowd.
Approve? Oh, my dear.
Well, you see, I understood you like to lead a quiet, simple life. But after reading about Mr. Topper's delightful escapade...
Mrs. Goodrich and Mrs. Simpkins.
Well. Hello, Grace. I saw your car outside and thought I'd just pop in.
We've been so anxious to meet you, Mrs. Topper. I'm sure we must have a great deal in common.
Thank you, I'm sure.
How do you do? What a divine life our Mrs. Topper must live. She must have a thrill a minute.
Living with Mr. Topper must be like dancing on dynamite.
My goodness, that's not a very good picture of him.
Oh, bless my blonde heart. I never expected Mousie to break out in this kind of a heat wave.
Could I borrow your lipstick?
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, dreaming it up, huh?
Good morning, Mr. Topper. Beautiful day, isn't it?
No. Well, yes, I don't know.
Good morning, Mr. Topper.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Mr. Topper.
Good morning.
What's the matter with you, Miss Johnson? Stop gaping at me. I'm not a monster in spite of the papers. What's the matter with everybody? Respectable bankers like J.D. who ought to frown on me, slap me on the back, and ask me if she has a friend. I can't understand it. Take a letter, please. Mr. Wilson P. Hemingway, Carter Building, Buffalo, New York. Yes, sir. Your collateral is satisfactory, and this corporation is prepared to finance your proposition 100%. It will, of course, be necessary for you to deposit the bonds with us. Stop goggling, Miss Johnson. To resume. I would suggest that you come to New York at your earliest convenience. Really, Miss Johnson, you seem to be staring at my hat as though you thought there was something dreadful the matter with it.
I do.
Yes, well, then I think perhaps you better take the day off, no? And do whatever you do on your day off.
Perhaps I better had.
All right, George, you win. I do think you might show a little respect for the bank. Push me. Where are you? Huh?
Marion wants the soda.
Oh, so it's you, Marion. After all the things you've done to me, you want me to buy you a soda?
Mm-hmm, the chocolate one.
Don't you understand that this is my private office?
But all I want is the chocolate soda with some vanilla ice cream in it.
Why doesn't George buy you one?
Because he's wandered off. Besides, he doesn't like sodas. And, Toppy, I'm lonely anyway.
Haven't you any friends?
None that I like as well as you.
Don't you do that again, ever. Supposing George are watching us.
But he isn't.
Well, how do I know he's not?
You'll just have to take my word for it. Now, stop being difficult. Come on. Here's your hat. Here's your stick. Here your gloves. Marion wants a nice
I know
fluffy...
you want a chocolate soda with vanilla ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Do I get it?
Not for $1 million.
Oh, so you're going to be mean. All right. I can be just as stubborn as you are. I won't budge from here. I know what I'll do. I'll scream.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, wouldn't I, though? Help!
Oh, stop it. Marion, I'll do anything you like, but don't do that.
All right, then, come on.
Well, shut that door. Can't go out like that. What will the people in the office think?
Well, supposing I go out like this.
All right, one.
Why, shame on you, biting little children.
You must be the
Oh, I want to stop here.
Don't do that. Mary, you nearly wrecked us.
I'll be out before you can say Jack Robinson. Only don't say it for a few minutes.
Don't talk. Someone will hear you.
Don't look now, Toppy. But there's some lip rouge on your cheek.
Huh?
This is delightful.
You wait here, and I'll go in and investigate.
Mary, what are you up to now?
Here I am, Toppy.
Oh. Mary, you promised to be good, and now look at you.
Don't you dare go away without me.
I don't know. Oh,
Well, I didn't see anything unusual. No.
well, maybe it was the wind.
Maybe you're right.
Oh,
Yes.
could have been. Cosmo? Come right in here. For heaven's sake, what are you doing home at this time of day?
I ran away. I thought it would be nice to feel how it would be to be here during the daytime, you know.
I really can't understand these women. They...
Yeah, but really...
Women like Mrs. Stuyvesant and Mrs. Goodrich, never before have they...
You know, you could forget it if you wanted to. And if you really cared for me, there are a whole lot of things you could forget about.
Forget? What do you mean, forget?
Well, I know that the newspapers said awful things about me and everything, but, you know, I'm not that sort of a man, really. I'm just an old, faithful dog, that's all. Uh-oh.
Old faithful dog! Cosmo, I can't stand here and let you flaunt your infidelity in my face.
But, Clara...
Don't speak, don't try to explain. It's all perfectly clear.
But I bought them for you as a surprise.
A surprise! It's a shock. No one but a fallen woman would wear anything like this. Oh, Cosmo.
Clara, I'm so terribly sorry about those things. Please let me in, darling, won't you?
Go away. Go away. Wicked old man.
Beg your pardon, sir, but are we packing?
I'm packing.
Are we going away, sir?
I'm going away. Can't you even look like a human being?
I don't know, sir. I've never tried.
Well, you better try.
Now, sir?
Why not?
No. Better go back to the old way, I think. Oh.
Yes. And when shall I say you'll be back, sir?
Say, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I am. I don't know anything. Oh, say anything that pops into your fat, stupid head.
And lo, the worm turns. Ah, well. I thought perhaps a cup of tea would help.
That's very kind of you. I don't want any tea, Wilkins, and I won't be down for dinner. I couldn't bear the thought of facing him.
That won't be necessary, madam. Mr. Topper has gone.
Gone? Gone where?
He didn't know.
He didn't know. But that's ridiculous. Nobody can go away and not know where they've gone. Nobody can. Wilkins, after all these years, are you trying to be funny?
No, madam. Mr. Topper went with the suitcase in the contraption.
He left me. I'll never see him again.
Oh, no, madam. He'll come back. If you'll pardon the liberty, madam, he'll come back just to find out whether you missed him or not whilst he was away. They always do.
Of course I miss him.
But he mustn't know that, madam.
Oh, what difference does it make, even if he does come back? I can never hope to hold him. That woman, he doesn't want me anymore. He wants these.
Did you say he wanted those, madam?
Yes, I did.
Then why not let him have them?
Oh, I don't mean just these things. I mean, oh, Wilkins, he's mad about the sort of creature the sort of woman who wears these things.
But my dear, dear madam, might I suggest that you could so easily be the alluring sort of woman who wears those? Oh, confound it, madam, I still say if he wants the pants, let him have them.
Oh, Wilkins! How dare you! Wilkins, how dare
Have a bite, Toppy.
Marion.
That's for running away from me. I'm mad at you.
Well, why don't you go away? Leave me alone.
Oh, I'm not that mad. But I asked you, do you think it was very nice to run away and try to leave me?
Oh, don't let's talk about it anymore. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of everything.
Oh, Toppy, don't be mad at me. Where are we going?
I don't know. I've left home. Doesn't matter where I go.
Oh, then I tell you what let's do. Let's go to the Seabreeze Hotel. It's right on this road.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. We can swim and play and dance every night. There's a wonderful orchestra there. Oh, it'll be fun.
Swim and play and dance every night. I bet it would. What am I talking about? I'm a married man. I can't go gallivanting off with a...
Oh,
with
Toppy, it'll be fun.
No, we won't go. I don't care, Marion. If you're here, I'm going to be very angry. In fact, I am angry now. I won't have you upsetting me all the time.
Of course I'm here. You didn't suppose I'd leave my Toppy, did you?
Careful, here comes the bellboy. Take this bag, will you? Why are you staring at me like something? I don't know what.
Aren't you the guy that cost me my last job?
Never saw you before in my life.
Hey, did you notice something funny about that guy?
That guy ain't funny. He ain't even human.
Well, I'll take charge of this.
Call Miss Ward, please. Calling Miss Ward.
How do you do?
We have a nice room on the third floor.
Third floor. I'll do very nice, I think. Any floor.
Take this gentleman to 314.
Yes, sir. This way.
Did you see what I saw?
Did I see what, Sherlock?
Nothing.
Are you always this anxious to get in a hotel room?
I have a reason for being anxious to get into this room in a hurry.
Well, I have a reason to get out of this room in a hurry. Come on, let me out.
Go on. Here. Wait a minute. Yeah. Here. Go on, get out. I want to shut the door. Go on.
What's wrong with you?
Between you and that guy in 314, you'll excuse me if I go nuts.
Mary. Mary, no, I do hope it isn't you.
What did you say? I got here with this water running.
I said, come out from under my shower.
No use. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Stop it, Marion. We're being watched. You should fly out of the window and leave me alone. Oh, Marion, confound it. Use your common sense.
I've already used my common sense. I've ordered cocktails. And you'd better jump in the shower and get yourself pretty.
I wouldn't change my tie with you in the room.
Oh, Toppy, don't worry about me. Get into your dinner clothes.
You're not dressed, are you?
Yes, I am dressed.
Well, get so that I can see you. So that I can keep track of you.
How's this?
You didn't have this on under the shower, did you?
No, but I just decided to be dressed, and here I am. Now, you get dressed and hurry up.
Fine. Well, you sit here where I can see you.
And what am I supposed to do? Twiddle my thumb?
Mr. Topper home? Mr. Topper is not at home, sir.
Are you sure?
Am I sure? Why, certainly I'm sure, sir. Why shouldn't I be sure?
I just wondered. You look to me like the kind of fellow who might not be sure.
Mr. Topper is not at home, sir.
That's what I said.
Wilkins, what is the matter? Oh,
Mrs. Topper? Mrs. Topper, where's that mouse of a husband of yours?
mouse?
Shall I eject this person, madam?
Yes. Well, no.
Listen, Smiley, you stay out of this. Mrs. Topper. I'm looking for that goofy husband of yours.
I beg your pardon, sir, but I must ask you to be a little more careful with your language in front of Mrs. Topper. Otherwise, I shall put the slug on you.
No, don't be athletic. Where's your husband? Where's your husband, Mrs. Topper?
I don't know. Mr. Topper's gone away.
Yes, well, that's just what I thought.
What do you mean?
Mrs. Topper, I'm looking for my wife, and I've got a certain sneaking suspicion that if I find Topper, I can find her, too.
You mean she might be with Cosmo?
Well, it's just possible. Listen, if you've got a slug of scotch, I've got the jitters.
Well, I'm sorry, but we've never had any stimulants in the house.
Oh, it's a fine thing. Why don't you have a snort in the house for the poor man instead of lamb on Sunday, stew on Monday, beef on Wednesday? Why don't you go out dancing with him occasionally? Then he wouldn't have left you.
I suppose you're right, but it's too late now.
Yeah.
Please go, sir. You're breaking the madam's heart.
Yeah. Well, if I can find Topper, I'll break his neck, and believe me, I'll find her.
Oh, he's very handsome, isn't he?
Mrs. Topper. Get me an aspirin.
Well, of course. Wilkins, I'm not supposed to be the butler. You are.
Oh, so I am. I'll get the aspirin myself.
Come in.
Marion, get out of here, so quick. Someone's coming.
That's right.
Come in.
What are you gaping at?
Can I hear you say, come in again?
Don't be impertinent. Put those things down there. Well, hurry up, hurry up.
Oh, get out. Can't you look where I'm going?
Yes, sir. No, yeah,
So
no.
what's eating you?
The next time I go to 314, I'm not going.
314?
Yeah, the guy's spooky. I just brought him 4 cocktails.
4 cocktails at one time for one guy?
Well, one guy and 2 voices.
What do you mean, 2 voices?
Well, first he goes way down low like this, and then he talks way up high like a dame.
Talks way up? Talks way up high like a dame? Well, get downstairs and get the manager. Get him up here right away.
He don't need a manager. He needs a straitjacket.
Hurry up.
Well?
Don't scare me like that. You know I'm a bundle of nerves when I'm on duty.
You sent for me, Casey.
Yes, and I'm glad you finally got here.
Why, what's wrong?
Hey, you see the guy?
Quiet. I'm in charge here. Don't you understand? He's got a woman in there, and she's not registered.
I'll attend to this. Who is it? I'm the hotel manager. Please open this door at once.
Vanish.
I'm sorry, sir, but I shall have to ask you and the lady to give up your room.
The lady? What lady?
What lady? Perhaps you can explain the red on this cigarette.
Yes, I cut my tongue when I was shaving this morning.
Cut your tongue.
Listen, don't try to kid us. There's a woman in here. We heard her. She's gone.
Casey, you're a fool. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Topper, to have caused you this embarrassment. I hope you'll accept my apology.
No, but think nothing of it. Promise me you'll think nothing of it. You've no idea how badly I should feel if you didn't promise me you were going to think nothing of it.
Well, I am sorry. I hope you'll accept my humble apology.
What's the deal?
I guess I'm sorry, too.
Cuckoo. Me too.
Out of here, you go on.
House detective, eh? A fine hash you've made of things. Now, don't tell me that you hear 2 people laughing. Another mistake like this, and you'll be fired. Now, watch yourself.
Come on, Toppy, I'm hungry. Let's go down to dinner.
On an empty stomach, I want some more pink ladies.
Get you some more pink ladies. Come on.
Good thing no one saw us coming out of my room.
Why, Toppy, I think we look lovely. We're the best dressed couple in this hallway.
Well, let's pretend we're not together.
Thanks, Toppy.
You know, Marion, you're positively beautiful. Yes, I might almost say that you were gorgeous. I will say it. You are gorgeous.
I think you're gorgeous too, darling.
Oh, Captain, bring the wine, miss.
Oh, not a wine.
No?
We want a flock more pink ladies.
Oh, that's right. Bring a lot of pink ladies, and you can go on bringing them on and on. Yes, sir?
Yeah. Oh, man, moon, wake up now, 'cause I've fallen in love. Yeah.
I want to dance.
But we wanted to drink.
Mm-hmm. I do. I want to drink. I want to dance. I want to sing. I want to have fun.
Come on, dance.
Nice, it's fun.
Well, I'm glad one of us is enjoying it.
Oh, I say, huh?
Oh, no, I was only kidding. I really like it a lot.
I like you a lot, too.
Bea, are you falling in love with me?
I tell you, I'm just that way about you.
Oh, you're just that way about my wife, huh? Listen, Marion, what did you mean by that remark on the telephone? We're not married anymore. Come here, I want to talk to you.
Hey, listen, what are you so burned up about? What about you up in Westchester?
No, don't change the subject. What did you mean by that remark?
You'll pardon us, but this is just an old family after-dinner custom.
Now, listen, Marion.
Oh, George, you're ruining our good deed. Here, have a pink lady.
Oh, I've had a pink lady, and to blazes with the good deed. I'd rather have you.
Of course, of course.
You stay out of this.
Never mind, Happy. I'll meet you in the lobby.
What's wrong here?
You are. Take a walk.
You can't talk that way to me.
Shut up.
She's right.
That's enough out of you. See here, young lady. Where'd she go to?
Never mind. You stay here like a good little billiken, and I'll find her.
Here, where are you? Where'd you go to? Where are you? Either one of you.
Why don't you watch what you're doing?
I didn't do anything.
Well, then watch yourself.
Well, I've got enough to worry about.
What happened? Stop pushing me.
I'll not stop pushing you because I didn't push.
Oh.
Topper, you're going home to your wife where you belong.
George, I won't be ordered about.
You're going home.
I am not.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, you naughty boy, to tickle me like that. Well, my husband will put a stop to this.
I wish he would, really.
Here, where are you going?
I quit. That guy from 314 is too much for me.
Don't be silly. I'll have this rumpus straightened out before I can bat an eye.
All right, you just stand here and bat your eyes. I'm going out and get a nice, quiet job in a nut factory.
Sit down, Topper. I want to talk to you.
I won't sit down.
Oh, yes, you will.
No, I will not. Something a little odd about this hotel, don't you think? Oh. I'm having a little chair trouble, but you'll pay no attention to it. I'm reading.
Where's Casey?
I don't know. He wouldn't be any help anyway.
Well, you go call the police before the whole hotel's wrecked.
George, this can't go on. It's got to stop.
George.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Did you drop this?
Oh. Why, you witch, you.
Oh.
Casey, get that wild man to my office before we lose every guest in the house.
Right, I'll show him who he thinks we are. The manager wants to see you instantaneously.
I don't want to see him.
Now, don't evade the question. You're going to see him anyhow.
George.
Uh-huh. I've been looking for you.
What do you say we make up?
Okay, honey. Hey, you know, this is the best fight we ever had.
But look at poor Toppy. We've got to do something about him.
It's practically done. Get his bag in the car.
All right, darling.
Oh! What are you doing? Stop it! You're hurting Rollo! Stop it!
Take this Senate pony off of me!
Won't somebody help me, please?
So you're the guy that caused all this trouble, huh? I'm the house detective. I'm in charge here. Come on, get up.
Here, hold this while I go for the cops.
Hey, what is this? It's a dog. Are you trying to make a sap out of me?
It's too late.
Who said that? Did you say that?
Of course not. That's what's wrong here. There's a phantom something or someone who's wrecking this hotel, and I want him caught.
A phantom? Who are you trying to kid? All right, men. Surround him. Surround who? Who's giving orders here? You folks lock the door. Come on, men. Follow me. All right, men. Line up. We'll rake the room. Quiet. Steady, man. We're closing in on him.
Bread and butter. Happy New Year!
There he is!
Oh, get off!
Get up!
A fine bunch of cops you are. I had that guy right where he wanted me till you crossed him up.
He's gone. Sergeant, he's gone. He got into the automobile and drove away, but nobody was driving it.
Oh, there must be an easier way to make a living than this.
Stop squirming, Topper. What's the matter with you?
I can't help it. I'm nervous. Look at that speedometer. What are you two trying to do? Make me like you?
Can't help it, old boy.
I'm scared stiff. Where are we going?
I'm sorry, Topper. I don't know. All I know is I've got to go there fast.
Slow down!
Can't slow down.
I said you'd ruin me, and you have. Now you've done it. George, Marion, where are you? Oh.
Fine thing. Here we are again.
Once more around that curve, I won't have a hat left.
Look at Topper.
Now, the KU2 is all very well, but look at me. I'm just like you now.
Now, keep your garters on, Topper. You'll be all right. You're just a little unconscious.
Oh, yeah. You're much too solid, Topper. I don't think you can become a member of our club yet.
Well, I won't go back.
Why not?
I won't do it.
You won't do what?
I won't go back to that silly old routine. Up at 8, bed at 11, lamb on Sundays. I won't do it.
Oh, Topper, don't be foolish. They won't make you do that again.
I'd rather stay here with you and Marion, even though it is like living on the top of a volcano.
Oh, but Topper, you've got to go back. You don't know how much it means to
No,
us.
I won't.
Oh, but Topper, you've got to go back, don't you see?
George! Drop it.
No, I didn't. Trumpet's in an ambulance. Get back, Topper.
No,
go.
I don't want to go. If I've got to go, I've got to go. But I'll get up when I feel like it in the morning, and I'll have some fun. Where were we?
You've had an accident, but you're safe at home and you're going to be all right.
Oh. Where's Marion?
I'll call Mrs. Topper right away.
No, not Mrs. Topper. Marion.
Who's Marion?
Oh. Mm-hmm. She's probably someone I dreamed about when I was in the ether.
But you didn't have any ether.
Oh, yes, I did. You'd be surprised.
Your wife is very anxious to see you. Do you feel able to talk to her?
You would bring that up. I'm all right. Go ahead and call her. Might as well get it over with.
Mr. Topper is conscious and wishes to see you.
Is he really all right?
He's perfectly fine.
Oh.
Madam.
Why, Wilkins.
See? Since I quit drinking, no more jitters.
Well, I wish you'd sit down. You give me the jitters. What in the world are you trying to do anyway?
Quiet, I'm practicing to be an angel.
Some angel you'll make.
Nice retorting. Well, I'm still your little angel, aren't I, honey?
Oh, stop it.
Well, aren't I?
Of course you are. But don't say, aren't I?
Okay, pet. Ain't I? Say, I do hope Mrs. Topper doesn't gum up our good deed.
Well, we'll know in a minute.
Oh, darling. I was so afraid I was going to lose you.
Oh, you can't lose a bad penny like me, you know.
You're not a bad penny. You're just the dearest, sweetest husband a woman ever had.
Darling, you amaze me. You look so different, and you act so differently.
I am different, and I've been praying you'd come back so I could prove it. Will you promise not to laugh if I show you something?
I promise. I'm too astonished to laugh.
You do understand, don't you,
Oh, darling, I understand. I love you.
Cosmo?
But I wonder if you knew everything. If you knew.
I don't want to know anything. I'm just going to love you and never question.
So long, Toppy. We're on our way.
We won't be seeing you anymore, Toppy. So long.
What was that? I thought I heard voices.
No, remember, darling, love me and never question.
Bless our happy home.
All right, so that's Topper. 1 second, I'm just going to lower this.
I think you're muted. No?
1 second. All right, that was Topper, starring Cary Grant. What's the female actress's name, Bob?
Her name is Constance Bennett.
All right. So there you go. Interesting film. I think that's the first time I've ever seen this film in its entirety. All right. So, what'd you think, Bob?
Oh, I love that movie. I love all of the Topper movies.
Yeah, a lot of slapstick comedy in there. A lot
Yes.
of funny stuff. I could sort of see the influence of like films like, not obviously, this film probably influenced a film called Weekend at Bernie's. Like that scene where he's kind of walking around like he's being puppeteered.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Yeah, I don't know if that's I would say that's probably the first time you've seen a not conscious man walking around on film being dragged by spirits.
Yep.
Possibly.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah, it's highly likely. It's pretty funny. I mean, this film, they could make this film today, and this would be
no,
this
definitely
would be
not.
Oh, not the joke about the he's like, what was it? I haven't beat my wife.
Beat her yet.
Not yet.
Tell her to come down, and if she doesn't, beat her.
And Cary Grant gives him that side eye.
Yeah. Or the fact that they're driving drunk, they're doing a lot of naughty things.
Yes.
And he's saying like, don't question me, just love me.
Yeah, that's an interesting ending, man. Don't question it. They kind of button that up real conveniently at the very
Well,
end.
they have to, right? Because especially at this time, right? It's 1937. The world is a tricky place at this juncture.
Yes.
So a lot of the films from this time period are very much like feel-good, funny, like romps, where you can kind of forget the things happening in the world, the things percolating in Europe, for example. You're coming off of, you're not too far out from the collapse of the stock market. You're not too far out from the end of World War I. World War II is incipient. So it's kind of this time where Hollywood provided an escape for people, where you had these handsome men and beautiful women and ridiculous cars and ridiculous clothing, living these completely absurd lives. And it was, you would spend a day at the movies, going on all of these little adventures with them.
All right, so we're going to be scoring this film. 1 second, please. All right. My brush is a little too big here. I got to change it up. Hopefully we got the right color. All right, Bob. Cinematography.
I think the cinematography is really good. It's so quintessentially like Art Deco.
For the time period, it is very good.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 9.
A 9, huh?
Yeah. And I love that it's a snapshot. Like, it's a true snapshot of the era. Like, this is what nightclubs were like, and this is what cars looked like, and how people dressed and interacted with each other. You wore tails to dinner. Like, gentlemen wore tuxedos to dinner because that was what you did. You wore formal clothing.
See if I can change the color. Give me 1 second.
And you had a live orchestra.
All right, I'm really terrible at drawing with this thing. Give 1 second, people. All right, I'm gonna give it an 8. But Bob, it isn't just about the dress. It's about the cinematography. It's about the camera shots.
I know, but what I'm saying is I moved from that to say, like, I love that this is truly a snapshot of that time period.
Well, and it really is, yes. I mean, the wardrobes, like some of the stuff. Ladies are very pretty in here.
They are.
Especially Cary Grant's wife.
Constance Bennett. Yeah,
yes,
she's beautiful.
She's very pretty. The cinematography, I think, is very good. I think the lighting is great. My only issue with it is just that there's even though I really love wide shots, this film has, I think, too many of them. I think there was points in the film where they could have gotten some close-ups and gotten a little more comedy from that. There's a lot of scenes like that were all wide shots. What do you think of that, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to like maximize the effect. So especially when George and Marion are ghosts,
yes,
and they're causing all of these hijinks, like they wanted to show that there was like no strings attached.
But I feel like at times you want to show those close-ups, and there were scenes where they could have done it. They did do it. They showed a lot of close-ups, as you see here. Well, you can't see it. We have our scorecards in the way. But they did have many close-ups. But I feel like at times, certain periods of the film where they should have had close-ups, they didn't. So you couldn't really capture the emotion of the character too well. And I mean, there's a lot of slapstick comedy in here. You kind of want to see that emotion.
Yeah.
They did it many times. It was funny. Okay, Bob, sound?
I love the music. I love the mid-Atlantic accent. Folks may not know that Cary Grant is not actually his name. His name is Archie Leach, and he's British.
Really?
So Cary Grant...
Is that not his voice? Is he faking that?
He's faking an American accent.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Cary Grant's British. So
he has a butt chin like me.
He does.
Yes.
He has a cleft chin, and
Cleft
he was
chin,
widely considered to be extra dreamy.
I was actually not so. I was like insecure about my butt chin, and then I watched Cary Grant, and people actually at one point thought that was really good, right? Really cool.
When I was little, I had the biggest crush on Cary Grant, but I also had a really big crush on William Powell, who plays Nick Charles, who is the lead character in a movie series called The Thin Man. Very similar character to George Kirby.
Yes.
He's a lush, he's a detective. You know, he and his wife go on adventures and solve crimes with their dog Asta. You know, but I had a huge crush on Cary Grant. I had a huge crush on William Powell. But these were the movie stars that I grew up with, even though I am, you know, not 70.
All right, so Bob, sound. What'd you think of the sound?
I'm going to give the sound a 6. I think that it's gotten a little bit crunchy because it just hasn't been preserved well. And I think that they there isn't a...
Did you say 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
There isn't like a score, right? It's just a lot of naturalistic sounds. The car, the street.
There's some music in there, but yes, I agree. For the most part, there's not a lot of music in this film. They put it when they thought it was appropriate, I guess.
Yeah.
I think they want to have a sense of realism in there.
Yeah, they wanted you to feel like you're there with them.
Even though it is very comical. It's very cartoonish in a lot of ways. They're like caricatures. I mean, in 1930s, you have two drunks, a film about two drunks. And they handle it in such a lighthearted way, you know? There is some, the film, I guess, in some ways, the audio is degraded, but that might just be this version of it.
It's possible.
There's many versions of this. I'm pretty sure they probably preserved it, or I probably might have been able to take that kind of a staticky sound out of there myself. But, with certain kind of filters on the program. So you didn't think the music was that great, Bob?
I'm rating it.
But this is sound as a whole.
I'm rating it 6 because I think that they could have made it a little bit more cohesive. They could have used sound cues. Like sometimes they used sound cues for the Kirby's. Sometimes they didn't. It was a little bit inconsistent.
Yes.
And I would have loved it if they had more music. Not like music the whole time, but just a little bit more.
Yeah. I gave it a 7. I think it was passable. I think the audio for the characters is very good. I think for a film from the 1930s, it's actually very well preserved. The film looks great, I think. This is in 1080p. I'm pretty sure we can get much higher quality versions of this. And like I said, this might just be this version. But, this
I'm pretty sure I have this on VHS and DVD.
There's a little static sound in there. And you do find that even in DVD and Blu-ray releases or, DVDs. It still has that kind of hum in there. Because sometimes when you use a filter, sometimes you lose some of the original quality of the film. All right, Bob. FX. When I say quality, I mean the audio. The FX, Bob.
I'm giving it a 10 for the time, doing all of the shenanigans with the car driving itself, the tire changing itself, like the haunting at the hotel. It was so fun, and they were so careful not to show like the strings and the gaffs of how they rigged it all up. So. Even just her in the shower and you see the water bouncing off of her, but you can't see her and you see the bar of soap flying around.
It's for the time. I mean, even nowadays they use.
I think they did a great job.
They did. It's like slapstick, and it's like a lot of times it's done like it's slapstick. This is a slapstick comedy, right? But the way it's done, the effects are like, I think they're intentionally overdone.
Yes.
Like you see them, they're just over the top. Like when you see the cars and this crazy backgrounds and they're moving all over the place. I'm pretty sure people, when they saw this in the theater, they're probably going crazy laughing.
It was a raging success.
I'm going to give it a 9. I think I know how to do those effects, like that fade effect they do there where the see-through and all that. I could do that, but it's just done. It's done well, It's especially I like that scene where he's like he's not quite what do you call it?
Dead.
The opacity.
Yeah.
Right? The transparency, he's not quite dead. They're like, "Oh, well, you're still kind of solid.
You're too solid to
you're
join
too
our
solid.
club."
You're not dead." All right, story, Bob. There's a lot of effects in that were funny.
I love this film, so it's going to get a 10 for me. Like, it's so fun. It does everything it needs to do. It is a fun,
what do you think
story.
it was about, Bob? What was the objective of that?
The objective is just reminding people to not get old. It's just reminding people to be fun and have fun. That is a common theme for a lot of films during this time period because, the generation of people who would be George and Marion Kirby's age at this time, right? They would have been born
it was
during World War I or right before World War I. They lived through the stock market crash. They're living through what is looming as World War II, right? So they've kind of had a very traumatic life so far. So a lot of media made by that generation and made for that generation focuses on like these lighthearted romps and not taking things too seriously and enjoying things and not worrying about things, because so much of their life, their formative years have been global war, global economic crash, you know, famine, like all kinds of crazy hard stuff. So Hollywood really went the extra mile to try to provide an escape.
Yes. I thought it was it's a very good story. I'm going to add a different category for the next show because direction. I think the direction of this film might have not, if I talked about direction, I probably would have given it about an 8.
Yeah.
Because there's a very good story there, and like Bob says, it's about a man who's like a middle-aged man, and his wife is like she wants to be a socialite, but she's basically kind of like, it's crazy because this is something me and Bob have been talking about lately, about isolation. She's kind of isolated herself. She just like, she doesn't even want to like really have fun. And she's very like, she's all about image, right? She's all about image, but it's at the detriment of her having fun. Like she's completely, like she's a prude in a lot of ways, right? And he's bored out of his mind. He wants them to have fun. Maybe, I don't know if she was ever, if they, that's another thing they could have gone into. If they ever were kind of like, you know, more like,
I mean, it sounds like they were, because he says, you know, we used to play together.
Exactly.
We used to dance.
There you go. So now it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
That they, at one point they were like having fun when their relationship started. Now they kind of like wind it down. And I think earlier, well, I don't know if it's earlier in the film or later during the film, his wife says something like, we're middle-aged.
Yeah, she goes, oh, we're middle-aged.
We're middle-aged, and he wants to go out there and he wants to spread his wings a little bit, people.
Well, I think that what happened is, you know, he
had almost like a midlife crisis.
This was definitely a midlife crisis. I mean, right down to he got the fancy sports car, had a dizzy blonde dame on his arm, is causing a ruckus, getting arrested. You know, it like ticks all the stereotypical boxes.
But there's a lot of layers to this film that a lot more than you might notice. You could tell that like everyone in this world were kind of like, I mean, tight asses, I guess you could say. And so when they saw him kind of just being a wild man, they all kind of like, they're like, yeah,
ooh.
you go. He's going insane because they're all like, maybe it goes to what Bob just said, that it just had to do with the state of the world at the time. I mean, it's like, was World War II was still going on, wasn't it?
Well, this is 1937. It's just getting started.
It's just getting started, yeah. There was a lot, like Bob said, a lot was going on. So this is like a reflection in a lot of ways of that time period. And these people were brought to him almost like his guardian angels, you know, Cary Grant and his wife, because, you know, they're crazy people, right? They're wild. And so in a lot of ways, they basically saved his marriage.
Yes. But it's also, this is kind of one of those moments where it is the bucking up of the younger generation and their kind of wild behavior against the people, you know, the people Topper's age would have been the flappers. They would have been out in the roaring 20s, living their life, you know, and now they're moving into middle age and their kids are coming up and causing a ruckus. So it's that like age-old, you know, handing over of the baton of youth where Mrs. Topper is like, oh, well, you're the president of a bank now.
Yes.
Like, we need to present a particular social image and we need to do certain things a certain way so that we can be accepted with our peers. And Topper's not quite ready to be a middle-aged banker. He's kind of still like, I've got some oats to sow. And he sees George and Marion Kirby living very much that like carefree, we are inordinately wealthy, we have no restrictions or limits. We could do whatever we want whenever we want. And it's like a reminder of what his life used to be like, right? Because
also, you know, you got to loosen that tie a little bit, people, right? You got to loosen that tie. It's a very good story. The execution is very good, but I think it could have been a little better. And the issue is that at times the story runs kind of like, there's a lot of dry spots in the film, I feel like, where it kind of drags a little bit. You agree?
Yeah, I think that they definitely took some parts, like particularly towards the middle, they took some parts a little bit longer in the tooth than it necessarily needed to be.
Yeah, like the hotel scene, and it kind of is. It's kind of like a way to set up another gag. That's what it feels like. The story, it's good, but the way it's tied together, there's kind of just some spots there where there's not a lot going on. and then it gets back into, and the story
Yeah.
becomes a little more well structured. But it's not. Like I said, if I had to give a mark for the direction, the director, I'd give him about an I'd say an 8.
But you can see the fingerprints of Laurel and Hardy on this.
The what, Bob?
You can see the fingerprints of like the Laurel and Hardy style.
Oh yeah, you could.
On
It's
this.
all over it. Yeah, you could see the influence this film has on what on future films. Like
Yeah.
I said, Weekend at Bernie's is one of them. And I forgot to mention earlier. There's another film, a more modern film that that film reminds me of this one, or the other way around. Which it's a film called Oscar.
That's such a good movie.
It's in the same style as this. There's a lot of films like this, modern films. Like people would be shocked how many films are very similar to this, except without that, the jokes about beating women. All
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah.
They can't really get away with that, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I
haven't beat her yet.
But even then, they were poking fun at it, right?
Yeah. I mean, but the joke is that it's so ridiculous coming from, of all people, him. Like if Marlon Brando delivered that line when he was like young and fit and, in his greaser era, it would not have been funny.
I think it might have had to be, it had to do with something to do with like his manliness or how, that kind of thing. And then he said it to not to Topper, to Cary Grant's character. And he's just like, what the hell? Like, it's like he's like trying to prove something.
He's trying to prove that he's a tough guy.
He's a tough guy. And then he was just like, okay.
And Cary Grant's just looking at him like, what?
All right, Bob, acting.
Acting is a 10. Come on. Particularly for Cosmo.
It's actually, the acting is really good in this film. Like it's, there's a certain kind of style to the acting, and it is that what you said, that accent. What do you call it?
The Mid-Atlantic accent.
The Mid-Atlantic accent.
They sound like they're simultaneously from Connecticut and from England.
They sound like blonde ditzes, like both of them, both Cary Grant and his wife. But Topper is, he's a straight man, right? He is very serious, and so he's the straight man. He plays it very well. And then when he kind of comes out of his shell, it makes it 100 times funnier, right? When he's kind of like dancing around, I want to dance.
With a hey, nani, nani. Would you mind if I just had a little dance on my tiptoes?
So, yeah. A lot of films, when they play the straight man, they don't do it as well as this actor. This guy had a really good performance. The lines are delivered really well. The wife, she reminds me of like Harley Quinn from Batman.
A little bit. She's a very chaotic, like flirty, feminine, devil-may-care energy. And that's the thing, she's this beautiful, young ingenue. Well, she's not an ingenue. She's not an actress, and that's right. But she's this beautiful, young socialite with nary a care in the world.
It's funny how they're dead and they don't care at all.
Yeah, they're
it's
just
like, we're dead. Okay.
We need to find a good deed to do, and they've selected Topper.
All right, Bob, take it or leave it.
Oh, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, absolutely take it.
All right, I'm going to take it.
We had Dark in the comments a little while earlier saying that men would wear three-piece suits to walk down the street. That is true.
They do. My dad wears three-piece suits to walk down the street.
Yep.
When
My parents
he
also
would
dressed very formally,
He'd
generally.
work a hard day. He'd come back from work covered in paint or whatever. And then you know what he'd do? He would put on a three-piece suit and walk around town.
Look like a proper gentleman.
Yeah.
Why did you put an X? You're not taking it?
Sorry. I wasn't supposed to do that. Sorry. It's supposed to put a
I know
check.
the truth now of your feelings about Topper.
Whoa, it's a Freudian slip.
I love that George is just like very preoccupied with finding booze wherever
I don't
he
know why I
goes.
put an X. It's a taker, people. I took it.
And the subsequent Topper films are really also very funny.
Yes, we're going to be watching them on the channel. How many films did they make?
3. There's 3
Okay.
Topper films.
Right. You wanna list off the names of those, Bob?
One is Return of Topper,
All right, so we took it, people.
and I don't remember the third one. Hold on.
All right, we're going to look up the other films in the series, and we're going to be showing you the next movie we're going to be watching on the channel. All right, just give me 1 second. But
Topper takes a trip from 1938, and Topper returns in 1941.
All right, so those are some more films we're going to be watching on the channel. But the next film we're going to watch.
And it became a TV series. I didn't know that. A
I didn't
TV
know that
series
either.
that premiered in 1953 and ran for 2 seasons, 78 total episodes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But what year was it again?
1953. And it stars Leo G. Carroll as Topper, Robert Sterling and Ann Jeffries as the ghosts. That's funny. And then apparently they tried to like redo it in 1973 with Roddy McDowall as a nephew of Cosmo Topper, who is now deceased. And Stephanie Powers and John Fink as the Kirbys.
Interesting. All right, so this is the film we're going to watch on the next episode of Food Theater. We got a lot of stuff lined up, people. This maybe not really in the style of the Topper of this film, Topper. I don't know if we should show this trailer. This is a pretty dark film. I own it. I don't know if I've ever seen it. This is, I think this is from the 1970s. This is one of those, it's what they call, like, it's part of the whole trend of the found footage kind of film. Mm-hmm. It's called A Cannibal Holocaust.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
All right, we're going to watch the trailer for that. That's going to be on the next episode of the Food Theater. All right, but before we watch this, remember to hit that like button, people. And subscribe to The Real Food TV.
Dark in the comments is saying that your subconscious put an X.
Oh, that's messed up.
I know the truth,
I do
man.
like the film. I do like the film.
I know the truth. You
I don't know
hate
what
Topper.
I put the X because I did it. I'm like half asleep. Sorry, people.
I'm heartbroken.
No.
You hate one of my favorite movies ever.
No. I like the film.
We should watch Bringing Up Baby.
We
Also.
will.
That's so
We're gonna watch
good.
lots more films, not people. Well, there are people in those films. Remember, people, to subscribe to The Real Food TV. It really is the greatest channel known to man. You are watching Food Theater. If you've been here if you didn't just get here, then you already know. You've already been welcomed. That's the second time I put that graphic up. Here we go. The trailer, theatrical trailer for a film called Cannibal Holocaust. Here we go.
The law of the jungle. Eat or be eaten. These film cans tell what happened to the Americans who journeyed into the Amazon to shoot a documentary. New York City is only a day away from the green inferno of the Amazon jungle. 4 Americans plunge into the savagery of the Amazon jungle to film a documentary. They never come back. Are they still alive? If so, where are they? Cruel. Brutal. Savage. Shocking. Authentic. Actually filmed in the Amazon jungle.
Sorry, people, that this is a bit violent. I've never seen this trailer. I just found it. Not really going with the whole Topper thing, but sorry about that. The film is pretty. It's a horror film, you know. And of the time, these movies were gruesome back then. It's not real, but like I said, this was part of a trend that happened in the 1970s where they would make them like found footage. So they tried to make the films look as real as possible. And as you could see from the trailer, it's filmed like a documentary.
No! You gotta get the film back home now! Think of the film!
All right, so that's Cannibal Holocaust. All right, Bob, what'd you think of that? Are you excited to watch that horror film?
Not really.
Sorry about that. That kind of brought everything down, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know it was going to be that violent.
So you could see the kind of difference in our tastes in movies. Like,
well, I've never
like
seen
movies
Cannibal
from the
Holocaust,
30s
Bob.
and 40s, and you like that.
I've never seen that film. It's just a very controversial film from the 1970s. It's some people would consider it a classic.
I'm not a fan of gore.
We're going to be reviewing it. I don't know the story of the movie outside of that. It's about cannibals and found footage to try to make it look real. It's pretty violent, but I'm going to fix our video.
Dark seems to be excited about it. He's saying, hell yeah, gore in the comments.
Man. Sorry about that. Maybe I shouldn't have shown it during the Topper. It's kind of a downer, I feel like, a little bit. But Bob, you want to go back about talking about the film while I fix the...
Talk about what film?
This film, the one we just watched.
Cannibal Holocaust?
No, the film we just watched.
I mean,
Topper.
That's kind of a non sequitur, no?
Okay. I mean, just talk about it a little more so we can kind of get Cannibal Holocaust out of our mouth. We're not cannibals over here, but we're going to be watching that in the next episode.
Yay.
All right, Bob. So did you see did you see any of the sequels of this film?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
Yeah. Yep. Are you excited that we're going to be watching those?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
But I think that it would be kind of cool to watch more of those films, because I feel like unless you had a particularly peculiar upbringing like I did, or your parents were older, or you're really, really into film from the golden age of Hollywood, like a lot of folks our age and younger have no idea about those movies.
Really?
Yeah. Most people don't know about Topper.
No, they don't. Sorry,
or Bringing a Baby or any of the above. Like, they don't know about those films.
They don't know about that. What you know about Topper?
They've got a head full of, like, I don't know, Marvel movies.
Yeah, people, sorry. I'm trying to fix our screen there. You couldn't see the name of the movie side to it.
We should also, if we can, do some Alfred Hitchcock films, like North by Northwest, The Lady Vanishes, Strangers on a Train, 39 Steps, like Rear Window is a classic with Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get around to that eventually. Once again, sorry about the violent film. We know in the comments, who was that? Dark said it?
Dark was very excited.
Dark's excited about it, but that's cool. It is a dark film, that's for sure.
I think Dark was just excited about the boobies that were flopping around.
Was he excited about the boobies, Bob?
Probably.
Yeah. That's pretty degenerate. It really is. All right.
That is such a pretty car, man. That is such a pretty car.
All right, but we're gonna be getting out of here, people.
I don't understand how people can see like cars like that. There's a classic car museum near our house where they do a sock hop with like a band that is elderly, and you come in poodle skirts and everything, and you're dancing with the classic cars, and it's actually pretty fun. I don't know how you can look at cars like that and then see like a Tesla, any of them, and be like, yeah, that's a great looking car. Like, even like many modern cars are just not, they're just not pretty. They're not beautiful.
The cars are very pretty in this film, but those cars weigh like a ton, right?
They are super heavy, and it's like a tank. Dark is in the comments saying that he is proud to be a degenerate.
Oh man, Dark, what's your dark taste? That's why I have to play movies like that, because you guys, Dark, it's for guys like you.
I guess Dark didn't like Topper.
Yeah, he'd like Topper. Come on, Dark, you got to open your mind.
Do you have your button ready?
No, I wish I did. I didn't have I don't know if I have it in here. I had a clip for Open Your Mind, the Total Recall movie. That's a El Barbarino. All right.
But yeah, there's a lot of really good movies from around this time period.
Yes.
Where it's just like you don't need to be shocking or edgy. You can just have fun.
Exactly. You can just have some fun for once in your life, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy them. Even though as you were saying before, Fu, the subject matter is not great. He's drunk driving. He kills himself and his wife by accident.
He almost kills Topper.
Yeah, he basically gets Topper arrested. His wife thinks he's cheating on him. On her.
I like how they keep crashing in the same location.
Yes.
Like he's not very good with driving in that spot. That is pretty funny. All right. And so Dark in the comments says, what did you say? Better than a lot of the
You said
slop?
Topper wasn't a bad movie, better than a lot of slop today. I agree. I mean, it's again, it is a movie from 1937. It is not a movie of modern sensibilities. Like, it was absolutely scandalous that she was
woke.
in.
It's not woke. It is a little bit degenerate, that's for damn sure. But what it is that Topper he's a little too far right, I guess. And so they had to put a little dirt on him.
Well,
right?
It was extremely scandalous that she was like in there showering with him, and he's not her husband, and she's married and she's not his wife, and like that whole bit was extremely scandalous.
Oh, it really was. 1937. You wouldn't expect stuff like this.
They had the Hays Code was alive and well. Like, that was salacious. That's why you see that Mr. Topper and Mrs. Topper have separate bedrooms, even though they're married. You could not depict two adults sleeping in bed together, even if they were married. They had to have separate bedrooms.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was very strict back then. That's why, they'd say this film might actually be, I guess, barrier breaking.
This was saucy.
It's pushing the envelope a little bit. Because I'm not too into barrier breaking. Pushing the envelopes, it's fine. It's fine. That's what makes it funny, right?
Yes, because he, like, and the fact that it was truly innocent, like, nothing was happening, but the implication that things were happening was what made it so, like, you know, shocking, you know. And it's all very innocent, like, oh, I think I'm falling in love with you. Oh, I might say you're gorgeous. But it's all, like, the most that happens is she gives him a kiss on the cheek. You know, like there's no naughtiness.
I mean, it's up there. I mean, what he was doing there, he was being a little schemy, wasn't he?
He was being a naughty boy.
He was being very schemy. I got some flaws here. You see my CPU? Sorry, people, I'm doing some technical stuff. I'm gonna have to.
But then he was like, "I'm not going back. I won't have lamb on Sundays." And George is like, "Don't worry, they won't do that to you again." It's just such a sweet, fun movie. And, you know, you could see her seamed stockings, the tap short lingerie, the whole bit.
Yes. She's very pretty.
She is very pretty. Constance Bennett's beautiful.
Yeah. But with that said, people, we're going to be getting out of here. We want to thank everybody that came in here. It is now 12 o'clock in New York.
Happy
Bob,
Monday.
you want to say thanks to everybody?
Yeah, we had El Pinchy, we had Dark. I think we had a few other folks in there.
We got people. We got like a million
chat's
people
not
in
loading
here.
for
So
me.
many people. We're going to be getting out of here. Remember to hit that like button and the bell icon. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe to the Real Food TV, people. It is the greatest channel known to man. We really do. You know, if you guys want to help out the Real Food TV, we have a Venmo. It is in the description for the video. All right. We're going to be getting out of here.
Good night.
All right, Bob. We've done it again. We played another classic film, Bob.
We sure did.
You want to get on this space shuttle and go home?
Sure thing. Although you've just let loose our secret that we're aliens.
No, we're not aliens, Bob. We're just on a space what is it? Expedition. Sorry, I can't speak. I'm looking at buttons right now and trying to press them.
I've got the I Love Lucy theme song stuck in my head.
You want to play that? You want to go out with the I Love Lucy's theme song, Bob? Is that what you want to do?
Sure. I used to love watching Nick at Night with my grandma when I was little.
We're going to go out with the I Love theme song, I Love Lucy, people.
When Fu and I first bought our house, one of the first things that he did was he set up a little like makeshift theater in the room that actually became like our home theater. And we had the complete first season of I Love Lucy on DVD. And we sat in our basically empty house because it was a whole mess trying to move. And we watched I Love Lucy.
We did. We watched I Love Lucy. It was one of the first things we watched because we didn't have a TV. We set up a little tiny TV and had a DVD player on it. So we sat there and watched our I Love Lucy TV show while laying on the floor because we didn't have a box spring for our bed yet.
We didn't have our bed frame.
We had
didn't
just
have our box
it was just
spring.
a mattress on the floor.
Yep.
Yep.
It was an adventure.
Yeah, it was. Wait, this is not a very good link. We'll go to this one here. Hopefully this is better. All right. All right. With that said, people, we want to thank you for coming in here. Remember to subscribe to the Real Food TV. We'll most likely be back tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone. See you later.